Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Currie Cup, already in round 3 of this competition, and this round has already had some pretty extensive upsets, mainly that Pumas versus Bulls match, but this game it will be Boland going head-to-head up against the Lions, a side that have the potential of going to the top of the table if they can get the victory here, but currently they sit 2 wins from 2 for the Golden Lions. They are sitting with their points differential of 62, and Boland, they won their first game up against the Cheetahs in emphatic fashion, then let that second game slip through the fingertips, eventually losing to the Griquas after having quite the substantial lead in that contest as well. But looking through at the starting lineups, first of all, for this Boland side in the front row, it will be Losper alongside Tobias and Van der Westerhuizen slotting in as the number 3. Unfortunately for Boland, they've had to deal with a couple injuries throughout this season already, which is a concern because a lot of these sides, their depth is already going to be tested, and we're only the few weeks into the competition. Better D alongside Marlon Williams, the captain, as the number 5. Arinsa in the loose forward trio alongside Ludio Williams, and also Thurlow Marsh slots in as the number 8. In the back line, it will be Schroeder alongside Ashlon Davids, who already looks like a star for this Boland side. Xavier Mitchell out on the left wing. Ngale in the midfield alongside David Britz. Donovan Don out on the right, and James Tedder slotting in at number 15. So overall, a very strong backline for this Boland side. They've been able to show the ability of scoring tries, even though we are early on in the season. They've conceded their fair few as well, Boland. So this game, if they can kind of mitigate those errors, they could be in for a winner here in front of the home crowd. Looking through at the starting lineup for the Lions will be SJ Kutsia in the front row alongside Jaco Vasachi, the captain of the Lions, and Skolman as the number 3. In the locking duo, it will be Schlablom and also Reina Roots slotting in as the 5. Jared Kens at 6, Kwama at 7, and WJ Stennekamp slotting in as the number 8. In the back line, it will be Nico Stain alongside Cade Volhata. Gets the chance to start at 10. Kelly Mpeku out on one wing. Reniard Yonka and Manuel Ras in the middle. And then Angelo Davids and Lombard at number 15. We have got there the Cavaliers, yes, says Briston. And best of luck to both of the teams. Go the boys, says Ruth. And also, gents, to Boland stay with an 18.5 line. I'm from New Zealand and want to bet on it. I would more than recommend not betting on the Currie Cup, because all you got to do is look at the game yesterday. The Bulls were expected to win their game up against the Pumas by 30 or more points. They went on to lose by 35. A side that came in as the underdog massively, the Pumas, came into the Bulls' backyard and knocked them out the park. So Currie Cup's not the one to be betting on. I'm sure there's something else you could do, like keep your money rather than donating it to your bookies. But we have got there, hey all, Hamish, Ruth, everyone, just got back from the 5.4k hike. Hey, well, that's a decent effort, because a hike isn't just a walk. That's like up something, isn't it? And we have got there, it's beautiful there. And now time for the rugby, says Chantel. So hopefully you are feeling, hopefully you're feeling all right after a big old hike. I hope you're excited for this upcoming match. We have got there, Boland is the best, says Briston. And how's it, Hamish, the real hamster? I haven't heard that nickname before, but I don't think being is being a hamster a bad thing? Hamsters are kind of cute, aren't they? That piece of hair has been annoying me all day. It's just not going to stay there. Cheetahs weren't spectacular, and Boland led the Griquas before the comeback. They also were down by a lot up against the Griquas too. That game was one of the most hectic that we have seen of the Carling Currie Cup for quite some time, with all of the lead changes taking place throughout that fixture. On paper, it's the Lions, but the game is played on grass, as we saw yesterday, says iLollipop. Exactly right. And Lions must take revenge on Boland for the Cheetahs' loss, says Albert. Well, that's the thing. The Lions, at the moment, the way that it sits, the Cheetahs and the Pumas are both on 11 points in the overall standings. But this side for the Lions have the potential of going right up to number 1. Even if they were to lose this game and receive 1 bonus point, they would actually still be number 1 on the standings. So that will be the goal. Get 4 tries in this match if you are the Lions, which shouldn't be too difficult, because in both of the games that we have seen Boland play, they have actually conceded the 4 tries at least. So perhaps it could be the same for this matchup. But of course, do let me know who you think is going to be winning this one. McKicky Fries, says Johnny Blaze, of course the local chip in the area. Although, Johnny, I'll be honest, I've been getting into, oh no, what's it called? Is it like Bird's Eye or something? The one with the blue blue bag, but I've been doing them in the oven recently, and they do the job as well, to be fair. I haven't really been using the air fryer a massive amount, but the good old Makiki fries, they do the job too. We have got the cheetahs weren't spectacular, and also you're probably right, maybe Boland at home versus the Lions on the road, but it will probably be 10 to 20 points at least, says Jonathan. Yeah, see, I'm a little bit hesitant with giving any sort of prediction now after that last game between the Bulls and the Pumas, just because, that game broke the mould and broke the chain in terms of favourites. Like that first round of the Carling Currie Cup, we saw a few underdogs perform as well. But this Boland side, it's fantastic to see the support that they're receiving since making their way into this Currie Cup competition. Just showing there. Oh, the Fidelity ADT Lions. I thought they were sponsored by Emirates. Or is that just their stadium is the Emirates Airline Park? Greens from Arania Hamish says Gerhard in there as well. Hope you're doing extremely well. Cheetahs won't win the Currie Cup, so don't care who ends on top. Just want revenge, says Albert there. And Tuma, bro, I better go to sleep, 1 a.m. Too late for me, brother, says Johnny Blaze. But it was greatly appreciated you popping in to say hi, Johnny. And yeah, hopefully you do enjoy your work all throughout the week. Just showing that lineup for the Lions. Looks pretty similar to what you would see throughout a URC fixture for this Lions team. The hamsters are adorable, says Albert there. And come on the Lions, says Chantel. And there too. But they are talking about Killian Peku making his way into the side. He has got pace out on one wing. They've got Angelo Davids out on the other. But this combination, Donovan Don, he's been proving quite the handful from the first couple games of the season for the Cavaliers. Go Boland all the way, says Gerhard. And also I thought they were Emirates as well. Yeah, maybe a new sponsor. I know that a lot of the jerseys have the Emirates Lions on them, but perhaps for the Carling Currie Cup, they've got a different sponsor in that regard as well. And we have got there about coming on the Lions from Chantel. So I do think that a lot of people feel that the Lions are going to be victorious here. But Boland, from their first game at home, have shown, well, the thing is, right, this season they have got a 100% win rate at the stadium. Now, of course, that's only one win from one, and they did win that game by 2 with an 88th minute try, but the statistic still stands undefeated at this ground. So will that be the case at the end of this match, or will it then potentially be the Lions who stay undefeated for their whole season? That would be the only team to be able to do that as well at this stage of the comp. We have got there about Go Boland. Both sides just about to make their way out of the tunnel. It's an absolutely beautiful day for this contest. I think the high was 19, which doesn't sound too warm, but it honestly is. It's currently 3 degrees here. It rained yesterday in Boland, so a wet field, says Albert. So maybe a little bit of slipperiness under feet, but a nice afternoon game too. Normally avoids that little bit of evening slipperiness that we see for some of the other fixtures. But Jaco Vasahi, a determined man to win this Currie Cup competition last year for the Lions. Honestly, they should have done it. They were all but there. They had the final under control, and then they just let it slip through the fingertips. You're right. Good idea to pass here and not give the dollars to the bookies. I'm, if not sure, says Jonathan. And how's everyone doing today, says Chantel. Doing very well. I assume that was also to the chat, though. But, yeah, hopefully everyone's excited. Rugby Championship just around the corner. I did finish filming my Springboks lineup prediction video just before this. I'll tell you what, that was an absolutely massive stab in the dark, just guessing for pretty much every position. We all know how unpredictable Rassie Erasmus is. I see Boland is in Rugby 25, but the problem, the stadium is not the same, and sponsor's not there at all, says Briston there. Yeah, it's a tricky one for Rugby 25, but I do think that people can make the stadium on the fan hub. So maybe one day if Boland do pretty well, or maybe a Boland supporter does have that little bit of creativity and feel like they want to build a stadium, they potentially could. Marlon Williams, the captain here of Boland, he's talked about it in the post-match interview of that first match, as well as just in general. Like, this is a side that all want to play for each other. They want to get far in this competition. They want to show what Boland can do. And I do think they've got a lot of potential for being able to do that here. Sorry, you're not great. Ray Hamish, you must be so tired. How was golf? Says Chantel. No, I'm doing good. But no, I didn't end up getting to golf in the end because it was too cold and too wet, Unfortunately, we've had a lot of rain, so the ground, you would have just taken divots all day and I would have slipped down another hill. So hopefully midweek we'll get that golf going. But now, going to be it's the commentators. I thought there was going to be the referees in charge of this one, but it is going to be underway now in this contest, taking place between Boland and the Lions. It's kicked off by the Lions. We are now underway for another match of the Currie Cup. And NPC, Hawke's Bay and Bay of Plenty. We're very good on the road. Both should do well, it seems, says Jonathan. Yeah, 2 big wins away from home. Definitely for Hawke's Bay down in Otago, winning that game by, I think it was 8 points or somewhere along those lines. Now trying to step there was Cade Vulhata. Be wrestled down by this Lions defence. By this Boland defence. And already a penalty advantage in favour of the Lions, rushing up a little bit too quick for Boland. Backline movement, Lombard. Onto the right-hand side, and we're going right back for the initial penalty. That was quick. Oh, Nico Stain, that was quicker. He wanted to take the quick tap, but he's told he's not on the mark by the referee. They will now the option of either going for the 3 or kicking it for the corner, and it looks like Vulhata already has made his mind up. They're going for the corner. An afternoon, Hamish from Cape Town. Not very warm here, says Ruth. So what temperature is it in Cape Town at the moment? And is considered not very warm? Because I know that you guys normally have the hotter or the more higher temperature hot days, whereas your low temperatures, I think, are still normally about 12, isn't it? Somewhere around there. Cape Town at the moment sitting 15 degrees, but that's considered cold, isn't it? In South Africa. Now Jaco Visagie, you're going to throw this ball in, nicely taken for the Lions. It's about 12 degrees. Says Roof there, and Lions, come on Lions, time to hunt, and they are looking to hunt towards that try line with a rolling maul here. Ball is somewhere amongst all of the players. And Nico Stain getting just a couple metres short now was the attack and run of Manuel Russ. Great guess, Hamish. Here's and the observatory is 12 degrees. Now 1 metre out and another advantage going the way of the Lions. Drop ball by Nico Stain. This time will take the quick tap, and again the ref says no. I assume that is because there were Lions players in front, which is why they weren't able to take that one quickly. Is this a last warning already from Van der Vesthuizen? Because if it is, that is very early to be getting that last warning. We're only 2 minutes into the game. And great guess. Our Lions think we are easy Boland, still the best. And hi everyone, cars out parked out front and or front of the house to watch the game, says Bruce. And also I'm a Wellington from birth. Good to see the stadium again. I will always love Wellington, says Gerhard. And afternoon, Hamish, says Cameron. Welcome in. And Boland are going to give the Lions a run around today. Nothing is coming easy. Yeah, although the trickiest thing for Boland at the moment is they're in the wrong part of the field. You know, they're potentially going to concede early here if they can't get out of this position where they are. Only 5 metres out from the line. How are you, Ruth? What are we drinking today? I had a Who Garden? I've definitely said that wrong. Sounds like you're very confused looking at some plants. Someone's backyard, Who Garden, but no. Sitting here 5 metres out from the line. Lions with the scrum. It was a terrible joke, wasn't it? That was like a dad joke from someone who's 55. How did the Bulls lose to the Pumas? I don't know. But honestly, the thing that's more confusing is how did they lose by more than 30 in that game? We have they're all okay, slow. Sunday with hot chocolate, says Roof. Now ball has almost come out the back of that scrum, but they will have another reset as the front rows did collapse. Just talking about the aggressive nature of both of these sides. Early on in this match, Visagie, of course, will want to get that physicality going, not just at scrum time, but also when it comes to those line-outs too. Now, the question is, I see all the coaches standing in the box. Do they have seats available, or are they just maybe the viewing is that little bit better if you're looking from above? And Chantal, you're adventurous. Yeah, good luck. Says Ruth there. And come on, Boland. Come on, boys. Says Briston. And mostly sunny, about 14 degrees Celsius. Wind has died. Now will be time for the kicker, says Bruce. But now a big push there from the Lions. They get themselves the penalty advantage. Going off to the right-hand side. And it's stolen by Boland. And no, already. We're 4 minutes in. Ref is reaching for his pocket here. He's given a yellow card. This has to be one of the quickest yellow cards for ill discipline. And that time it is going to go against, it will be Ngale, who makes his way from the field. Like they've said, he was 5 metres offside at the time that he tried to intercept that ball, so he didn't exactly help himself. Well, he did in a way, but helped himself in the wrong way. Just saying there that the easy option would be to take 3 points here, but it looks like, again, the Lions are going with the scrum. This ref's so bad. Says Briston. And great stuff. Gerhard, enjoy the brandy. Says Ruth there as well. But yeah, just rushing up from an offside position. They already had the scrum penalty going against them, so it was relatively cynical from Ngale there. We're now 10 minutes with one less defender out there on the field. Another one. Oh, that ball almost came out, and it looks like Boland may have stolen that ball at scrum time. Yes, they did, and brilliantly done work in the penalty advantage too. Now backline movement close to the sideline. Wrestled out was Donovan Don, and will go back for the penalty. I don't know why Nico Staines still trying to tackle him, as the penalty was not going to be his. 5 minutes in. That time, I think it was just a missed hook from Visaki. I don't know whether or not that was due to the pressure that Boland were putting on. Maybe more so the unpredictability. We've got to remember, Boland's scrum last week got absolutely dominated. Like, there's no denying that. They were giving away penalties left, right, and centre, and at times it seemed like they were going to get everyone sent off for those repeat infringements. But in this case, up against the Lions, it's gone right there. Miss of the hook, and then very well spotted by Sydney Tobias. It's just hit someone's knee in the Lions one, and then coming back on the side. In fact, it was actually Diane van der Vesterhuizen who hooked that back for Boland. And I am Craig is back, St. Francis Bay. And EC, love your commentary, says Craig. It is greatly appreciated you being here once more for this matchup. Another round with the Lecker cup of tea. And Visaki come on SmackDown, Lions back. Or Lions boys, I should say. And now nicely thrown in by Boland. They sit 40 metres out from their own try line as they start to march towards the halfway line. They've got themselves another penalty here again. Release the advantage. Breaking off the back with Sydney Tobias. Low tackle made on Schrader. Taking a little bit longer to get a halfback, seeing as he was just tackled. Tack and run from David Britz, and they will go back now for another penalty in favour of Boland. We might see another yellow card in the very near future here, if we aren't too careful. And let's go the Cavaliers. Says Briston there. There is a whole band going on in the stands at the moment. I can hear drums, I can hear some trumpets, maybe a trombone. That sounds like someone doing a solo on the trumpet, if I'm honest. And he is absolutely going for it. We have got there Chantel Early Grey, or Earl Grey, says Ruth. And the Bulls game was a bad affair, says Gerhard. Yeah, it just wasn't what anyone expected from that Bulls team. Like I mentioned, they were expected to win that game by a large margin. And I can't even imagine how much it would have been paying for Boland, or sorry, not Boland, but for the Pumas to win by 30 plus in that contest. Like, you'd have to assume it was at least 100 to 1. If I was the boss of South African rugby, I would tell the big unions to not hammer the small unions during the Currie Cup to make it more entertaining for everyone. So you'd pretty much organise match fixing, is what you said, Albert, in that sentence. Yum Love Try and Roy Boss with honey and lemon. So comforting, says Chantal, but now rolling maul again here for Boland. And also we have got their WB cheat, and that they claim Stellenbosch University, which is in Boland, as a Western Province fan, says I Lollipop. Now another rolling maul. Still shaping up, going to the short side. Ashlon Davids with the ball on the inside to James Tedu. Just slips over 5 metres out from the line. Ball came free, but it went backwards. And Boland in a good position on the field. The fact that they were able to survive the scrumming onslaught from the Lions in the first couple of minutes definitely bodes well for them in this match. Good hands from Tedu, offload on the outside to Donovan Don, and they will score now. Boland on the board first with a man disadvantage as well. This side's got some sort of X factor about them for this season. And took Boland plus 19.5. Now it's okay, says Jonathan. And also absolutely yes, says Albert. And also hello, darling. I hope you are okay. No, I'm not, says Ruth. And also we have got there Boland, says Briston, and Donovan Don doing it again soon. He's scored quite a few tries already throughout the season, and I don't think he's done scoring them as of yet. Man, is a lethal scorer, not just in the sevens, but in the Carling Currie Cup too. And try, says Roof. And there as well, but James Tedder, this is the perfect offload there. Luring in the defence of Killian Peku here to make the tackle. Yes, it's noisy here. I can hear the stadium, says Bruce. And Donovan Don must go play for the Springboks. Says Briston there. That kick is going to miss away to the side for Tedder. So keeping the score at 5 points to 0 after the 9 minutes of play. I do think that Don's a little bit early for a Springboks call up though. Like I would say a couple more seasons plus, he would have to commit to rugby union and go to a URC team. Because if he keeps on going into that blitz box side, they don't often select a guy straight from the 7 circuit into the box. So he'd have to commit to union first and then potentially could get in there. It's match fixing for the greater good of the game. Keep smaller unions alive because all they have is the Currie Cup. The biggest problem with that though is, like, yes, they could do that, but because so many people put money on things now and betting's kind of ruined sports to a certain extent, it means that there's no way for them to actually do it without like a lot of problems. Oh, big driving tackle there. Slamming him down was David Brits in the tackle of Lombard. Now Nico Stein taking there. Kutsia to the right-hand side again. Kate Vulhata passes it on to Manuel Ras. Oh, big shot on him. Round the shoulder, maybe even riding up a little bit higher, but 40 metres from the line now. The Lions up to Blues Auckland. No, that's right. Says Blues Nate. And Rugby Rockers tuning into Fabulous Hamish. Enjoy your day. Hit the likes button. And subscribe to the Kiwi Lads. And Lions, you'll need the defence. Because Boland will punish you now running down the wing. Killian Peku, a good low tackle from Donovan Don. Does force the error from the Lions. Goes into touch off Stedecamp. And it will now be the Boland line out round the halfway line. We have got there. I think Boland got a line out. About 3 minutes 40 left in the sin bin. Says Jonathan there. But yeah, that sin bin is ticking over very quickly at the moment. For there's a Boland side. Just showing still in the bin is Lunathi Ngale. Now we have got there Stedecamp. Says Ruth. And also not bad, Nate, bro. Says Naz Williams there too, but now line out throw for Boland. Just a bit of a conversation going on here for Marlon Williams and a couple of his forwards, working out exactly what the tactic will be. I think at the moment it's just create a line break. Hamish, did you watch the breakdown show? I did not. What did they discuss this week? Probably South Africa or the All Blacks, I would assume, for their match rather than the first round of the Rugby Championship. He says, Bands, I assume that was high with an E accidentally thrown in there. Now off to the right-hand side, Manuel Russ going there to Lombard. And afternoon, Rugby fan says, Jimbo, welcome in, Jimbo. Hope you're doing well. That's a penalty now going the way of the Lions. Hello, all. Says Betty there too. I think that one is going to be against Xavier Mitchell this time. It's about 5 penalties now against them throughout the first 12 minutes. Oh no, in fact, sorry, 3 penalties, 5 in total. Any news on poor Vic from Vic and Vern? I hope he's doing okay. I believe the last I heard was he went in for one kind of diagnosis and ended up coming out with a back injury, I think it was. The breakdown concluded it's Bowden Barrett ahead of Richie Moonga. Says hi Lollipop, and also hi Pads, says Chantel. But yeah, hopefully he is going to be all right. I know that Vern mentioned about maybe what did he say? He said that he had something on tomorrow. I think they discussed the Rugby Championships. Yet they spent half the time talking about Richie coming back. Says Albert. Now attack and run from inside of the 22. Now back into the pocket. Chance to kick this one towards the sideline. And nicely cleared by Ashlyn Davis. Slip disc. Says Roof there. And not alcohol Roof. Roof, I'm suffering after last night. Says Jimbo. I like front row rugby, being a Springboks fan, says Bruce. And also King Moonga, says Ruth there too. Yeah, still a little while till Moonga comes back. We've got over a year, I believe, till he will be playing. Or maybe roughly a year, because I think he will be in that NPC setup. But he's still got a bit more time in Japan as of yet. Oh, ball's going to be dropped there by the Lions, trying to go for that rolling maul, and it just snuck out of their hands. Also, how are you, Amy? I'm doing very well. I'm more wide awake than I thought I would be. To be honest, how'd your golf go as well, Petty? I know that you only got a few hours sleep before it. Hey, what did I miss? So the Lions were on early attack, only 5 metres out from the Boland line. Eventually, repeated errors from Boland led to them getting a yellow card. But then Boland getting the steal in the scrum, going pretty much the full length of the field after the next 2 or 3 minutes, and then scored their own try to take the lead with just 30 seconds left of that card now. I like that the poll is 50-50. I feel like that's because of the game yesterday. A lot more people are a little bit more hesitant to just back the favourite now. Boland got scrum off the line out. And kill off maybe 1.5 minutes in a scrum. Absolutely. There was one game of the NPC that I was keeping track of it. One scrum took 2.5 minutes. And in the end, it became a free kick. We have there. I used to think Blaze and Marco are the same. Are they not? Oh, like as in Paddy Blaze or Padza Blaze. And yeah, no. So Johnny Blaze was initially Marco Vanapola Bear. And then he went back to Johnny Blaze. But yeah. I think, Paddy, did you name yourself after Johnny Blaze's, account name? I think there might have been some sort of story behind it. And they said Richie will basically have 10 tests before the World Cup for the ABs, and if that's enough time, says Albert. And your prediction's going to be way off, says Big Rig. I mean, you can just look at any video I've ever done where I try and get a prediction right. Most of the time, we don't even back the right team. We have got there, come on, boys, says Briston, but currently the possession in the hands of Boland. It's changed. Strange to see sunshine in Boland this time of year. Went average. I seem to have that unlucky golf day. That can happen, though. And also, with a lack of sleep, sometimes that has more of an impact on you than you actually think. Oh, okay, they've got the advantage at the moment. Nico Stain was about to take that quick tap, but the referee never blew the whistle, so didn't need to. Now, skipping past on the outside, they'll go back for the penalty. And England's women's thrashed France 46 yesterday. Just a couple of months ago, their score was 43-42. Says Big Rig, geez, so one-sided in that regard. This isn't great if the Lions haven't even scored a try. And after yesterday's massive surprise, anything can happen in this game. Exactly right. I was hungry, I missed breakfast too. Yeah, that wouldn't have helped either. You got to get that fuel in. Not literal fuel, please do not drink petrol or anything like that, disclaimer. We have got their penalty for who? That penalty did go the way of the Lions after they did have the advantage. So just leaving the feet for the Boland defender. Looks like they are now going to be back to the 15. They're just coming onto the field, having a conversation with the referee. Okay, I think he was just having a conversation there, pretty much saying he didn't feel like he should have been yellow carded, but that's a brave thing to do when you've just made your way back out onto the field. Because guess who's getting the next yellow card if the ref sees you do something wrong? This is going to be sitting about 10 metres out from the line. I can't remember why I changed to have Blaze in my name. For something, though, says Badson. And that's going to be a not straight throw. Oh, no. In fact, there is a knock-on instead. Jaco Fasachi, yeah, just knocked on by Marlon Williams. I talked to the refs. When has it ever helped? Yeah, exactly right. Like, there's not going to be many times at all that you go up to a referee, with the one exception of that clip from ages ago where they said, shouldn't it be our ball? And the ref went, oh, actually, you're right. With the exception of that, the ref's not going to change his mind. Definitely not if you've already been in the bin for the 10 minutes, which would be a bigger surprise, the Pumas winning against the Bulls, or Boland with a win over the Lions. I would say the Pumas up against the Bulls because of how much they beat them by. Like, Boland, the benefit they've got is they're at home. And they honestly are a better side than some give credit to. Whereas the Pumas, like, you could argue, yes, they've won the Currie Cup before, but some people still don't give that side credit as well. But yeah, I definitely say beating the Bulls at Loftus by more than 30 points when they came in expecting to win by more than 30 nothing's going to beat that, I honestly think, throughout this whole competition. Unless it's something like Boland make it all the way to the final and then win away from home or something like that may match it. But for now, yeah, that's going to be the biggest upset for a while. But off to the right-hand side, the Lions with the inside ball to Manuel Ras. Attacking from 15 metres out from the try line. Nico Stain passes off right. Big solid hit coming in on Kwama. Just waiting to see that referee's arm. He's very keen to get that arm up when there are Players rushing up. Attack and run. About 10 metres out. Nico Stain going off to the left-hand side. Kei Volhata with the short ball. Finds Reniard Jonker. Now Kei Volhata. The space is opened up and he makes his way through to score the try back for the Lions. That'll make the score now 5-5 between these teams as we pass through the first quarter of this fixture. And we have there, let's get Kavaliers to 100G. And also Boland looking like a class outfit. It's been years. I can't go back that far. I'm going to go argue with the referee. Moments before disaster, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, it's not the best thing to do, I wouldn't think. Maybe it was just to get clarification, but by the looks of the hand gestures and whatnot, it seemed like he was saying no, like that wasn't quite correct, which is brave. The Lions getting it back now. Kei Volhata. There was a nice looking try by the Lions, says Albert, and also a little bit of a defensive misread from Boland. They weren't expecting Volhata to run it, and they were shifting wide, which just left him the perfect channel to be able to run straight through. It's just going to miss away to the right-hand side for Volhata, so the score after 20 sits 5 points to 5. And good Lions, good for you, Boland will. Show you what rugby in South Africa means, says Briston there. There was a good finish from Volhata. He got smashed from the side in the tackle with James Tedder. Now, this is where they have to get that focus back, Boland. There have been times already in this Carling Currie Cup where they concede multiple tries in a row. They have to try and take that element out of their game. Sometimes when the opposition get momentum, they just can't stop them from rolling. He's a big guy, too difficult to stop. Too difficult to stop, says Albert. I assume you're talking about Kei Volhata there. Oh, I don't know what happened there for the Lions. I think a little bit of a slip for one of their players ended up with them being just short of the possession. So Boland have managed to take it back. Oh, well done, Lions, says Ruth. Off to the right-hand side, attack and run. And a very attacking breakdown there for the Lions, all but stolen by Manuel Ras. And Boland got a scrum, or got the scrum on KO. Says Jonathan lost it, says Jonathan there. Conversion missed. The conversion was missed, yes. So not quite able to get that one over. Off to the left-hand side. Oh, that's a forward pass. In fact, it's going to be knocked on too. So it does mean that the Lions will have themselves a scrum on the halfway line. You can see the field is breaking up. It's really wet, says Albert. And to be fair, with the exception of maybe that was why the Lions player was a bit short when he tried to run forward. But with the exception of that, we haven't seen too many players slipping and sliding throughout this match by the looks of it, which is a bit of a bonus. Oh, why is James Tedder doing this? He's taking some strapping off his wrist. Maybe it's just to get that re-strapped, I'd like to think. I don't think he's calling to be off the field. Benzo, I won't ask, baby, says Ruth there. Yeah, just a forward pass from Ashlon Davis, not taken cleanly by Thurlow Marsh. And I've said there that Boland, that was a bit of a waste of a good attacking position on the field. There will be a few opportunities, but of course not a massive amount at times. Okay, scrum feed now for the Lions, just inside. Okay, I think I just heard the referee say there to one of the Lions players, if you make a tackle, please release a little bit quicker. So just getting a bit of clarification around the breakdown. WJ Stenkamp just making sure that he knows what they're going to be calling for. Greetings, everyone. How are we doing, says Sebastian? Doing very well. Hope you are also doing great, Seb. Had quite a lot of rain in Wellington over the last few days. Will be slippery, says Bruce. The Lions suddenly found their stride. That's a big scrum coming from Boland this time, and they get another penalty advantage. Now, the thing is, Boland's scrum last week really struggled. Ashlon Davids has not, though. He manages to break the line. And Boland now 22 metres out. Drop ball from Sydney Tobias, but it goes backwards. Referee almost had to make that tackle. Took evasive action to avoid it. And still playing under the penalty advantage here. Oh. Big tackle on the captain, Williams. Oh, good hands shown by, would have been Arnsa. They will go back for the penalty. Hey, Sebastian, says Chantel. And Boland, big push. And the question here for Boland is, do you take on 3 or do you go for the 7? I feel like you've got to go for the corner, don't you? There will be a lot of tries later on in this game. Yeah, so once again, the Lions, I think Nico Stain is actually slightly, I want to say for the scrum, it seems like he's throwing it too far on the side of the Lions. And because of that, it means that the hook is not actually getting a chance to hook that ball because it's just hitting him in the shin and then bouncing back out. And then that's where Boland are pushing through and getting themselves those advantages. So, yeah, I think it's the case of because they're trying to get it so one-sided, it's actually backfiring in that Lions scrum. But now, ready to throw this one in for Boland once again. It will be Sydney Tobias. Currently 24 minutes throw on this fixture. Tack and run from Ngale. It's going to be about, let's say, 15 metres from the try line, but already we're almost 25 minutes through in this match. Playing half was Louis Schroeder for this game. Wrestled down by Iako Visaki, who's told to get out of that breakdown. Take what you can at the time, says Bruce, and remember, when they throw into the scrum, had to be straight. Yeah, that's something that's never policed anymore, is it? In fact, sometimes, like I said, it's actually backfiring for the Lions here because they're going too far in one direction. Now off to the left again. Losper. Out to the left. Now Ngale going in behind. Does fine the running of Ashlyn Davids. Seems like there's a lot of moving parts here for the Boland attack. They just haven't quite been able to get that big line break. We have got there how you keep that positive attitude for hours on end. I was here around 15,000 subs, says Nas Williams. I actually probably couldn't tell you, to be honest. I think it's just like as serious as some people take rugby, I feel like you've got to be able to look at it from a just enjoyment factor. And because I still enjoy watching it and still enjoy doing the streams, that's probably why like a little bit of the positivity comes through. Like I don't like being negative. It seems like it's too difficult. So I just try and find the positive in things. Which I don't think it's too deep really, but just what's happened, I guess. But yeah, we've been going for 5 years on the channel now. Oh, that's a big knock on from Boland. It's now going to be the penalty again, though, not rolling away, going against the Lions in the breakdown. And we have to imagine if this game score ends 5-5, almost like Cheetahs and the Sharks, says Albert. Yeah, although I think we're going to have a few more points for this contest. Easy to be a positive rugby fan. If you're a Kiwi, New Zealand always win. That is not true, though. Had some tough patches. I got to sit through everyone having a meltdown about the Ian Foster era of the ABs. But yeah, it's one of those ones that if you can just enjoy it from outside of having a side, like rugby's a lot more fun. Like you don't feel stressed about who's winning or, you know, another side of things is not betting on it because that just stresses people out hugely. But James Tedder with the strike of the ball, and this time they do take the 3 and it does go over. Boland now leading 8 points to the 5. All right, we go like this. We go like that as well. Yeah, we're good. We have there watching it as a neutral helps because having a side would drain you much quicker. See, Sebastian, that is true. And it makes it easier to enjoy what the other team are doing as well. You know how sometimes if you've got a side that you're backing and the other team's doing well, for some reason you like feel like you have to not like that other team doing well. But nah, it's ideal really. Nicely taken by Davids, still inside of the 22, but Sydney Tobias runs it out. In South Africa, we are all crazy of rugby, and Saturday night without rugby, I'm like so boring, says Briston. And being heavily policed now in France, ball is straight in the scrums. I will filter through, I think. And Boland are making a game of it. They look keen, says I Lollipop. They have. And they've been competitive throughout this first 27 or so minutes. The Lions haven't quite found their backline rhythm. And Jacques Snell has said agreed there too. Imagine if this game score ends 8-5, almost the same as Cheetahs Sharks game, says Albert. That's why we like Amish, no biased, says Nas. Yeah, every once in a while, the rumours start that I have like certain sides that I favour a little bit more. But then, like, it's very easy to misinterpret me praising a side that's doing well with supporting them fully. Like, it's just a case of sometimes we talk about a side more because they're doing more out there on the field. Auckland here says Nars Williams, I still have to get up to Auckland at some point. Nice attack and run from Lombard. I'm going to get to Auckland, going to get to South Africa. So a lot of plane tickets need to be booked at some point. And it's a knock on there from the Lions. Another mistake when it comes to their attack. Their handling at the moment has been letting them down. SJ Kutsia just down on his knee. I have a bit of an injury there. We have the I'm trying to be funny like Hamish, but it's really hard, says Albert. I think sometimes you just got to keep on firing, Albert, and then eventually one of them sticks or one of them hits. I probably tell, I would say 99 jokes that no one likes, but every once in a while I say one that someone's like, oh, that's not bad. And those are the ones that you got to go by. I need a 15-point win by the Lions, says Craig Stevens. Remember Fori Dupria, says Ruth. How far is Auckland from you? So, flight-wise, it's not too bad. Well, we've got a stoppage here. I'll actually go and have a look. Oops. It's 1 hour 20 from Christchurch to Auckland on a plane. And then for me, I've got to drive about 3 hours to get to Christchurch. So it's about you'd say probably 5-hour trip with the delays and whatnot. But, like, it's a little way. But it's just the factor of you can't just drive it. You got to take a plane. If you do favour one particular team, it's not a crime. See, here's Bruce. No, but you would think it would be with how some people react to it. And some of these stoppages, you never know what to expect. Penalty, sin bin, bad call. See, here's Jonathan. Yeah, there's a lot of unpredictability at the moment across the game of rugby. And scrum for the Boland Kavaliers. Yeah, just after that knock-on of the Lions. Means that Boland will have the scrum about 25 metres out from their own goal line. Okay, they've just said there that it is a rugby incident. In that case of Sanlam Williams taking a knock to his, I think it's the nose. So, yeah, hopefully he is going to be all right. Looks like he's struggling a little bit with it, though, just at this current point in time. Just about ready to feed it in. Lies, you want the All Blacks to win? Not always, to be honest. Like, if a side who are up against the All Blacks deserve to win, I'm happy with them winning. And that kind of comment could get me deported from New Zealand. So we can't tell no one that. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I very much enjoy seeing a side that play better win games. You know, if you play worse and you sneak a victory, I always, it's great that they won, but you could argue, that the other side deserved it more. And we've seen plenty of games like that throughout our time on the channel. Like, we've done almost 2,000 live matches. So we've seen a few upsets. We've seen a few rough calls. We've seen a few interesting matches. The Cheetahs are everyone's second favourite team. So I'm always in a good company being a Cheetah. Arabia's not ballet, hard-hitting game. Says Big Rig. And we appreciate your neutrality. I'm just staring, says I Lollipop. Yeah, see, I've been called an undercover Springbok supporter quite a few times too on the channel. And when I bought that shirt a little while ago that had like Springboks World Champs on it, it didn't help. But then I also have like an All Blacks kit. I have a Glasgow Warriors kit, but I don't support them. I've got a Hurricanes kit. I've got a Chiefs kit. What else do I have? Too much spare time? That's another one on the list. I like clean rugby. When my team starts cheating or playing dirty, I kind of want the other team to win. England's history of armless tackles pisses me off. Well, there's one guy in particular that could probably be blamed for that, Big Rig Joe, I'd say. But another penalty going the way of Boland. When it comes to their scrum, they have looked the stronger out of these two sides. Not undercover at all, says Jimbo. And we have got there, does anyone have a link? It's on DSTV. Unfortunately, there's not really too many free-to-air options for these matches, which I think is a massive shame. As the Currie Cup, I think outside of South Africa, there'd be quite a few people do want to watch it. We have got the right time to sleep. Hopefully this headache is gone by morning, says Pedza. So yeah, be sure to get yourself a big old drink of water before you go to bed. It might help. You want to go with a Box World Champs shirt to the local pub? No, that would be brave. Even wearing, like, I've got some Hurricane shorts, right? And it's not because I'm more so a fan of the Hurricanes. For one, I like the yellow, but also it's because they had an end-of-season sale and all the other sides had sold out of my size of shorts. But they're good shorts. Like, they got zips on the pockets and all sorts. So, like, I've worn them around the place, and luckily, being in Canterbury, it doesn't go too badly. Beautiful offload on the inside there from Davids, but just misses the next pass. It's going to be cleaned up, so it doesn't cost Boland too much. Another run from Sydney Tobias, who's been busy throughout the early part of this game. Off to the right-hand side, Davids with the carry, breaks the line, passes on the outside. That is fantastic work. And now another double for Donovan Don. 6 tries, 3 games. The man is hard to stop. And the hat-trick is now on the cards. 13-5, no spoilers. Maybe something good upcoming. And we have got there, have you got a clown suit? Says Bruce. I've got a sumo suit that like blows up and is inflatable, if that's the question, Bruce. It's funny seeing Put Human sitting in the coaching box because I remember how he was a troublemaker like Buckius for the Cheetahs many moons ago, and you're super fair and stable, unlike some commentary people who go nuts, says Ruth. You see, I think I still go a little bit nuts at times. Like when a game's stressful, I can feel a little bit of the stress, but afterwards, like 5 minutes after the game, I'm normally all right. And now lining up this kicker will be James Tedder. And have a good night, everyone. Says Beds Ablaze. That one's going to go over. And that's going to make the score now 15 points to 5. The 10-point lead for Boland at this current point in time up against the Lions. Turn Hamish into a cosplay channel. Well, for Halloween a couple of years ago, we did dress up as Harry Potter. And then we've been Santa for Christmas before. But outside of that, I don't think we've had too much. I was a vampire at one point for another Halloween one. We've done some weird stuff on the channel in my time. We used to have a giant inflatable All Black that sat behind us. Some of you might even... Oh, in fact, that's the question. Who remembers the name of that giant inflatable All Black? If you know it, you are definitely an old school member of the channel. Nice clearing kick from Ashlon Davids. And we have got there Don doing it again. And Boland playing beautiful rugby here. Ashlon Davids is just setting up his backs for success here. And honest dude, he could BS and say this and that, but he real. Says Naz Williams. Well, I feel like that's the thing. We spend long enough on the live streams that if I tried to make up stuff and start lying, like eventually with the amount of hours that we're awake on these streams, something would slip and people would go, oh, we caught him out. But like, it's just easier not to lie, I think. But now off to the left-hand side, Nico Steyn. They've got about a 6-on-2 here, but Kate Volhata couldn't quite get that next pass away. Now Steyn going short side. Reniard Jonker, he had a great game last week. And now Boland in the breakdown. They get the steal mistake from the Lions. We have got their blow-up sumo suit. Exactly right, yeah, with a little fan in the side. A rugby player or the wizard. As a wizard. But, yeah, it was an interesting one. There's also another story about that Harry Potter costume that some of the older ones will know too. And Kieran Reid says Sebastian there, and also Kieran there with the emojis. Yeah, good old Kieran. I don't know where he is at the moment. He's probably deflated in the garage, which would be a weird sentence for people to come into. I remember the massive inflatable rugby ball. Yeah, for the halftime shows on the rugby championship, we used to go down to the local rugby ground and get the little clip-on microphone and do a segment about the kicking. And I think one of them I blew my hamstring. But now, sitting 40 metres out from the line, Boland again. And have the line-out throw. The ref is helping Boland. He didn't spot the lines, getting the turnover. Says Albert. And possible sin bin here, seems. It could be in the future. He was a Weet-Bix prize of some sorts, wasn't he? Yeah. Yeah, way back in the day, he was a local competition at the supermarket that if you bought some Weet-Bix, you could win an inflatable All Black. And I did win said All Black. I think I also won a World Cup backpack way back in the day for like 2011 it might have been. That they had a competition too. They don't really do that anymore, unfortunately. I don't know why. But now, WJ Stennekamp around the halfway line here for the Lions. But they did get the yellow card of Nico Steyn, I should mention. And score needs updating, says Big Rick. One moment. I'll move my mouse a little bit. There we go. The ball's going to be stolen again from Boland. Ref is great, says Briston. And if that field is starting to tear up, says Albert there as well. And poor Kieran, seeing things he didn't want to, says Bads up and now backline. Arinsa just needed the pass. But instead, does decide to set it. Sydney Tobias. Just get that feeling like another one's coming here. David Britt's going on the outside. Little shuffle of the feet and a big shot on Xavier Mitchell. He just stays in the field of play. Chipping behind from Tedder. Chasing after it. Well handled by Lombard. Do you do trout fishing in the mountain streams? I do not. We've got like a river. Is normally where we trout fish, or like there's a little an inlet. Oh, was that a foot trip on the Boland player who tried to take the quick tap from the Lions? They might need to check this one here. Unbelievable Hamish blow up All Black. I need one of those, please, says Ruth. Yeah, it's a shame. I'd stock up as much as I could on Weet-Bix to get an inflatable doll. Rugby inflatable, not. I'll be quiet now, says Seb. Yeah, if they were doing competitions like that, I could understand why they weren't allowed to. But the thing is, it was like a tackle bag, but it was full of air, so it was always going to pop. So benefit of having a dad as a builder when you're younger was using the pink bat bags as the tackle bag. Okay, I think that there was interference after the quick tap, but because he wasn't on the mark, it means that it's not actually going to be a penalty against the Lions for it. So that is probably good news if you are a Lions fan here, because they almost ended up with a second man going to the bin in quick succession. He took the kick in front of the mark before the trip, says iLollipop, which is exactly what the ref has said, which is why it is not going to be any sort of extra element to it. These games are throwing us for a loop. Just when we think you can predict the game, they bamboozle you. Yep. And that's the beauty of the Carling Currie Cup. In fact, that's the beauty of most competitions. Some of them are a little bit more predictable, but this one, nah. Like, it seems like if you are a favourite, you actually have to work harder than the underdogs, because the underdogs seem to want it that little bit more. Oh, what's that one going to be for? That's a knock-on against Boland. In fact, a free kick, in favour of the Lions. And 3 tries and no conversions. And can't blame the wind. It's calm now. Treetops not moving, says Bruce. Although they've had 2 tries and 1 3-pointer that they got earlier on. So he's sitting 2 from 3 off the kick and tee for today. Boland taking no prisoners, says Ruth. Doesn't end up finding touch with that one for Cade Volhata. So attack and run 4 from James Tedder. He's tackled low by Visahi. And the Wars agree, says Nas there. Now Marlon Williams, we're up to 38 minutes. These games just fly. And now David's trying to create a bit of magic. He was tackled round the chest. The step from David Britt's trying to bump off. The defence ball stolen. And now the pace, but they'll go back. That could have been the runaway for Killian Beku. The Lions coaches are furious in the box here. It's going to be another one going astray. It is for a high tackle. I did mention earlier on, it looked a little bit high on the chest. I'm contractually obliged to behave in this chat, says Sebastian. Tap and go, I should say. James Tedder struggling to run as the turf does rip up underneath him, but the turnover and the breakdown comes for the Lions. Trying to go quickly for the Lions, for Boland, did backfire big time there. I really feel sorry for Lions coaching box because you can't fight the ref, says Albert. Cade Volhata has to play halfback due to Stain being off the field for 5.5 more minutes down the middle of the field. It was Donovan Nunn actually taking a seated catch, which was a bit of an injury. So he's tried to chip it behind, but it is claimed by the Lions. We now start to move forward with Ken's tap and go, says Nas. And damn those terms and conditions. And also, you can, but only one time, and then your career is over, says Big Rig. Now just the 30 seconds left in the half. Cade Volhata going off to Emmanuel Ras. Well, that's a clothesline. If they got the advantage, yes, they do for the high tackle this time. Going against Sydney Tobias. And Sebastian, oh, I want a blow-up goal of Antoine Dupont. That'd be an interesting one, wouldn't it? We also had a rugby coach on a stick at one point on the channel. Oh, that one's not going to find touch. And now Boland, they'll just use up a couple more seconds. It looked like maybe some of the Boland players in the front were saying, have a run, see what happens, but they've kicked it out. And that is going to make the score now 15 points to 5. And the halftime break, but an eventful first half there, ladies and gentlemen. Halftime-ish, says Albert. But yeah, an interesting game just like the last, where the underdog is leading in this fixture. Are they going to be able to keep it that way, though? Sticky situation, Hamish coach on a stick. Says Ruth there. 2 tries to the 1. Boland will still need 2 more if they want that bonus point. They're just showing there, Jordan Hendricks, he was the player who nailed that last-minute kick last year to win the Carling Currie Cup for the Sharks. Oh, yeah, I remember Ian Foster on a stick, says Sebastian. Yeah, there's been a few little bits and bobs that have happened on the channel. We've had the live stream in the lounge on the couch with me, George, Isaac in there as well. We've had not a World Cup final, but a Super Rugby final where we actually had, I believe, all 4 of us. Or maybe it was just 3. I don't think Daniel was there in the end. You're a legend here in South Africa, says Craig there. Which took people saying, I'm going to shove this up to the coaches literally, says Big Rig. Yeah. I did try and laminate him though, and I had Stuart Hogg on a stick, which didn't age well, but he looked like a zombie on that stick because my printer played up, so I just left it like that. And he looked like a zombie Scottish fullback. Betting man could have made some dollars this weekend with all these underdogs actions. The sad thing is, those same betting men will probably back the underdogs next week and win nothing. I'm really surprised many pundits are saying the Box will struggle against the Wallabies because they aren't prepared. Sad. I think they're only trying to say like there's a couple extra weeks where South Africa haven't played, but I think people forget that the Springboks have had a pretty extensive training camp just before the Rugby Championship. So like they had 4 games. Theoretically, you could argue that because they played those 4 games up against easier opposition, they could be more ready for the Rugby Championship because they'll be fresher. They haven't taken as many injuries. It was unfortunate for Stuart Hogg because his zombie form was prettier than his normal one, says Sebastian. I still think Box will win, but it won't be a whitewash, says Big Rig. So as in like you think they'll win the 2 up against Australia, but they'll just be close, or you're saying it will be 1-1? And that one, Big Rig joke, because I did try and select my Rassie Springbok side a little bit ago. I ended up filming it before this live stream. I honestly, it was just guessing, trying to look at the past combinations that Rassie's gone with and maybe thinking he'll do it again up against the Aussies. But, it's too difficult to work out what's going on in that man's head. And Box have been together since 2018. They'll be okay, says Jimbo. Yeah, it's not like they haven't played any rugby this year. You know, like they will be fine. And they're in front of the home crowd. So that will also help. At altitude too. So, you know, I think that Australia definitely come in as the underdogs. But they also have the ability to try and pull off the upset. Like 30-23 style games. Yeah, I could see somewhere around there. Okay, so the Lions need a new strategy. Boland are neutralising them, says Ruth. And we have got there, was she the lucky one that got away? Says Lilia B for the blow-up doll that left. I bit her on the neck. And she farted and flew out the window. There you go. Does Annie know about that one? Oh, how good they are. Okay, so the Lions need a new strategy. Yeah, I think that Boland, they just seem to be the more clinical in that first half. They had a few chances and they made the most of a couple of them. The Lions, you know, that early yellow card where they didn't score off it when playing up against 14 and 5 metres out from the line, just missing that hook a couple times in the scrums. You know, those are a lot of points that they're giving up. And blow up doll damn, says Nas there. And being dumped by a blow up doll, that's a new low, says Sebastian. But they're just showing that Boland attack. And Doctor, please, my blow up doll is leaking air, We also need the full strength Bok team for the first time this year. With 2 World Cup wins under the belt, so Wallabies will need a miracle. Or we will also see the full strength Bok team, says Albert. See, I wanted to select the strongest possible Springbok side for my Rassie prediction, but then I also made a couple switches because I was like, maybe he won't quite go with everyone as the strongest. So I would say my biggest curveball was probably my 9-10 combination. Everything else I would say is close to the strongest, with the exception of maybe number 8. I wasn't too sure who to select there, so without giving away any spoilers, I selected someone that they have selected in the earlier July internationals. Can teams like the Pumas and Boland be considered underdogs in the Currie Cup? 2 very strong teams. They still end up being underdogs, even though in some regards, they can beat all of the sides in the competition. The box centres will stop the Aussie attack where the British and Irish Lions couldn't, says Jimbo. Yeah, I think Dialendi and Jesse Creel, those two are pretty much locked in for that match, or at least I would think that they would be, unless they're going to look at maybe Andre Esterhuizen at 12, and he can't tune in. She's at home at the moment, and her Wi-Fi is playing out in Boland. It's because of lack of past participation, and they're just very big underdogs with sharp teeth, and I guarantee you 100%. Rassie will pick his strongest Bok team for the first test against the Wallabies. Yeah, see, I've pretty much selected what I think is the strongest, with the exception of maybe the newer combination in one part. We have there, I won't ask where it hurts, and also Rassie ultimate goal smash the ABs, says Nas. And come on, let's get some points. Lions second half revival, says Roof. But match stats at the moment, we have seen 2 handling errors from the Lions, 1 from Boland. We have seen 9 penalties against the Lions just in this first half, compared to Boland, who have given away the 7. So a pretty ill-disciplined kind of half for these two sides. And they will have to get that a little bit better for the second period of play. Tackles missed. We've seen the Lions miss almost 50% of their tackles here throughout this contest, or about 60%, I think it is. Territory 55% in favour of the Lions. Quite a few times where we've seen 5+ phases, and opposition 22 visits, 9 in total for these teams. 5 from Boland, 4 from the Lions. The Lions haven't had a lack of opportunity here. They just have had that little bit of a lack of that clinical finish. 15 points from 9 penalties and 5 points from 7 isn't great, to be honest, says Big Rig. Yeah, there's been a few turned down penalty chances throughout this game. But, yeah, we'll see what happens in the second half. I feel like both sides might go in with slightly different tactics, just a little bit. When last did Australia win a test in South Africa, says Albert. And also we get their Boland hasn't lost at home since June 2024, said Jonathan. Well, there you go. And Lions tackling a disaster so far. Boland slippery heels. And we have there might bite them if Aussie wins, though, says Big Rig, for going with the strongest team. But then the thing is, like, I am of the firm belief at the moment that yes, Rassie has a strong 23, but I do think that making little modifications doesn't change how strong the Springboks team is. Because, you look at someone like Edwell van der Merwe. He probably isn't considered in that first team, but if you put him in there, he would probably do just as much as Kurtley Arendse, depending on the opposition. So it gets tricky, doesn't it? But it's a good tricky to have, the fact that you got so many great players who can all slot into different roles. You just got to look at the guys who aren't selected in this Rugby Championship squad. Faf de Klerk, Makazole Mapimpi, all those type of players that, if you chuck them in, they would still be very strong. Tribe yet to upload Boland's logo, get tracking, lads. The thing is as well with the Tribe app, they didn't actually have the lineups for today. So that is why through the start I had to actually just read them off because they just didn't update it. There are a few sides like that. The Griffins never got their logo, so Boland probably aren't going to get theirs either, sadly. Unless, of course, they become a long stayer. And Rassie didn't build his game plan around a player, or doesn't build his game plan around a player. He builds depth around a game plan. Exactly. He's just showing a Toyota ad at the moment with a few All Blacks in a vehicle. And now they're showing a big cruise ship. They're going in 2 different directions, 2 very different vehicles. But second half, ladies and gents, close to getting underway in terms of looking through at who could be the impact player off the bench for this Boland side. They have got Cheswell September. He was actually starting a couple of the other games that we have seen throughout this season. Off the bench for the Lions, they've got Juan Skurman alongside De Bruyne as the front row replacements. Renzo Duplessis, I think, is going to be the X factor, though. There's some big games next weekend, which I'm sure many of you are looking forward to. Says Bruce. Yeah, it's crazy that the Rugby Championship is already here. Like, it's almost Christmas. And it was only February, like 2 weeks ago. And now we're already in August, almost September. And the Lions are the Golden Lions on Tribe. Which one's true for the Currie Cup? Says Sebastian. I believe they are known as the Golden Lions on Tribe. But I think that on the Currie Cup for Flash Score, they normally simplify it. So like the Blues, or sorry, the Bulls are normally the Blue Bulls for Currie Cup, or like the Natal Sharks, but they will call them just the Sharks type thing. Now we have there some big games. And also 4th September 2010 was the last time Australia beat the Box in South Africa. So yeah, big rig, so they'll be wanting to make a little bit of history of their own. They've got 2 chances to do it. It's going to be tough though. Both games are going to be extremely physical. I don't think either of the sides will be walking away without a few injuries on the cards. The golden ticket was offered to a Currie Cup player to be included in the Springboks team. Selected to play against the Wallabies. Who would you give it to? Oh. So a golden ticket for a Currie Cup player at the moment. That's hard because there's been some good players. I mean, someone who supports Boland would probably say Donovan Don, with how many tries he's been able to score just as of late. There's a few good loose forwards at the moment. And honestly, a couple guys in that number 8 jersey. And even though he had a bit of a rough game last match, I would say that someone like a Jandre Rudolph would be an interesting fit in that number 8 Springboks kit. Who else have we got in the 8 jersey? Willie Engelbrecht, he'd probably go all right for the Box as the number 8 if they were looking for another option while Honeycomb, Elric Lowe, Jano Augustus and all those guys are injured. And also Vesa suspended. They drew on 30th September 2017. And South Africa beat South Africa in New Zealand. But otherwise, it's only hometown wins in the past 15 years. So here's Big Rig. I'm also looking forward to the MotoGP too. After their summer break. But that's not popular here. I think a couple people follow it quietly. There's the thing, like rugby seems to be a lot of people's main sports on the channel, but do let me know, ladies and gents, we're actually going to have a bit of a question here at the start of the second half, as we are a minute in, and the Lions got themselves a man disadvantage and a rolling maul. But what is your second sport outside of rugby, or what is your first sport and rugby is your second? What's the other big sport that you enjoy watching? Do let me know. Now, I will say rugby league, rugby sevens, all those ones don't count because they still, for us in this scenario, count as rugby. Jandre Rudolph is a bit long in the tooth and makes some silly mistakes. He does, but it's weird, isn't it? Because long in the tooth, but I think he's only like 29, isn't he? He just looks like he's 50. No offense to the bloke, but that is probably very offensive. But yeah, Jandre Rudolph, 31 years old. But if you were going to pop him in for just like a match, like they're not actually going to do it, but it's more so the question that Lilia asked. About who would be a random guy to just throw in right here, right now. But now kicked him behind from the Lions. Nicely taken by James Tedder. Sitting 10 metres out from the line. And the Lions looking for the steal there and all but getting it. MotoGP then rugby, cricket. Says Albert is the other one. Second sport is football, but only premiership in the UK. Football, rugby and cricket. And ice hockey in there. From Seb. Gaelic football and hurling. And then MMA, pro wrestling if it counts. I love hard-hitting contact sports. Don't like NFL though. Says Big Rig. You see, I feel like, am I right in saying that there's quite a few like rugby supporters who do like a bit of the MMA side of things too? Definitely like at the moment for the South Africans, Drakus du Plessis defending his middleweight title up against Hamzat Shemaev in the near future. The Lions have still got themselves the ball though and 2 minutes remaining. They'll probably throw Franco Mostert or Sia in at 8. Yes, yeah, I'm curious to know if they're going to give Vesa another crack there because they've got plenty of locks. They've got Snyman, they've got Nokia. They did ditch Morup from the side though, so maybe one less. But, you know, you got Mostert, Diacha, Etzebeth. It's a good clearing kick from Boland. Have relieved a bit of the pressure, but Manuel Russ is still ready with the ball in hand, and he's tackled by Tedder, who I still think looks a bit like Damien Pinot. After the ice hockey is brutal, says Ruth. Rugby, tennis, cricket, football, F1 and golf. I watch others too. Those are my mains, says Lilia. So you got quite a few covered. Oh, what a fend that is. Running down the wing for the Lions. Another fend coming in from Mpeku. The tackle had to be made. Lions doing very well to keep that ball on their side of the breakdown. Volata with some good hands. The offload attempted, kick downfield, but what a take that is from Manuel Russ. James Tedder tried to clear the ball, kicked it straight into Russ, who caught it in front of him. And we have there Damien Pinot, Light, says, Lollipop and Brock Lesnar quit NFL to go to MMA because it paid better. Yeah, he probably got paid much, you'd think he'd get paid much more for what he did in the WWE as well, than what he did get in MMA. Now going off to the left-hand side, Skorman, Boland told to get out of it. 44 minutes through now. I used to watch amateur boxing when we were good at it 30 years ago, says Jimbo. Ridge Holland quit rugby to do wrestling because it pays better, says Big Rig Joe. Was that his reasoning? Because I know that he was rugby league, wasn't he? Or was he rugby union? I think he was a rugby league player in England, wasn't he? Oh, short side. That was a high tackle, but it's going to go back for a Boland penalty. We have got there, true, but WWE is every week traveling. MMA is like 1 or 2 fights a year, says Big Rig. Yeah, it's a tricky or kind of an interesting comparison, isn't it? Because, like, you carry a lot of injuries from doing WWE each and every week. But in the UFC, you could get that one, like, each fight you get a lot of, like, you take a lot of damage. Well, in some cases, Brock Lesnar didn't take much because, of course, he's Brock Lesnar. But, yeah, it's kind of like do you want to punish your body that little bit more each and every week to get more money? Or do you want to kind of drag it out longer for a smaller payday? And stop the ref, stop the Lions. The ref stopped the Lions, says Albert, but now Nico Stain will make his way back out onto the field. So, he will bring the Lions back up to 15. And just hope for the Lions, after first try, Boland give up multiple tries occasionally. I think your comment too. Yeah, so I don't trust that Boland have enough of a lead here. At all. And we have got there cricket, MMA, baseball, F1, and MotoGP. That's the first baseball that we've heard. I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever watched a full game of baseball. I played baseball on the Wii Sport side of things, and I get frustrated by it. But, like, I feel like baseball would be an intriguing one. The atmosphere at baseball seems to be pretty awesome. We have got the Lesnar back in WWE now. Yeah, he returned last week, I think it was, wasn't it? Not a single viewer said AFL. The Aussies haven't showed up for the stream, says Sebastian, and come on the Lions, go the boys, says Nadine. And there too, but now ready to feed this ball in for the Boland side. They sped up American baseball with the timer on the pitcher, says Lollipop. Oh, loose ball. Oh, drop ball again, twice in a row, playing it on the ground as well. Almost going to go against the Boland 9. Now Nico Stain, Volhata. This is the big chance. Reniad Jonker going off to Manuel Russ. Got in the fend, but again dragged down by James Tedder, who's been about as busy as anyone has been out there on the field. Rugby, cricket, especially T20. F1 racing, almost through Stain. 2 meters from the try line now. Boland with the big counter ruck, trying to not just slow this one down, but also try and get that steal. But a lot of men committed in the breakdown for Saki, dragged down low. And on the ball, but not rolling away. Double blow of the whistle. Boland have got themselves another yellow card. Pool/billiard/snooker, says Chantel, is another option there. And then we've got, does anyone in New Zealand do snooker, or is it just pool? Mainly pool, but I think there would be snooker somewhere. Like normally in the pubs and whatnot, it's just a pool table. Just because I think when anyone's had alcohol, it's easier to explain pool rather than trying to explain you got to try and sink a ball first and then you're allowed to sink one of the other ones. But it can be quite intriguing to watch the snooker, the angles. But speaking of Aussies, I think they are a much more promising side ahead of the Rugby Championship this year. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they end up going in South Africa. But I also, if they lose both those games, I don't want to see them disheartened. You know, I think they can still be very competitive up against Argentina. They've got themselves the penalty now, Boland. So again, surviving the Lions 14 on 15 here. And snooker is fantastic to play and to watch. Says Chantel there. And go the Lions, says Naz. There too, but I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to follow us on the Kiwi Lads Instagram. It is the second pinned comment, or the second link in the pinned comment. I haven't uploaded anything on there yet because I'm too indecisive and can't decide what to make the first post, but also because it's been like 3 years, it has to be something really good, and I can't work out what to do. But yeah, be sure to follow us over there. We reply to all the messages that we get in the private messages, talking to quite a few people about different things in the rugby world at this point in time, and also just some random stuff. I've had people recommend me movies over on there too, and I now know that there are many movies I have not watched. I played snooker as a teen, but now just play pool in the pub. And which one's the more popular pub game in New Zealand, pool or darts? I'd say you always see someone at the pool table, or at least 90% of the time. Like, darts seems to be a slightly more niche crowd, but I think it's just more so that, like, it's slightly more dangerous too with the darts, so normally the pubs are a little bit more hesitant to give out the darts. Whereas the pool table, like, yes, you get a big stick, but not many people use it that way. But now it's going in behind. Lions having a retreat with Angelo Davis. First time I've mentioned that man throughout this whole match. We have a pool table at work. I like to play a few rounds during lunch break. That's actually a really smart move to have a pool table. We were going to get a pool table in the common room at school in the later years of high school, but instead what happened is, trust it to be me, but I ended up buying a mini table tennis set. So we would set it up across like a long desk, and then from there, it was like a mini net and mini paddles, and people would just play that during lunchtime. So you constantly just hear the kind of, I don't know how to make the noise other than going, like, it was kind of like the, just back and forth all lunchtime. It drove people absolutely insane. And poor Lions got declawed. Says Big Rig. I also have a dartboard in the gazebo. That's free for guests. Says Bruce. And seriously, how ridiculous is the Lions can't score? Yeah, they just haven't been able to get through, have they? Like, they've had many times that they should have. And we saw it in the statistics, how they've had more possession. They have had plenty of times where they've reached more than 5 phases, and they've been in the opposition 22 plenty of times. Here comes Boland. David Britz tackled about 10 metres out from the 22. Sydney Tobias now looking short side again. Like I mentioned, Chiswell September to make his way off the bench. Later on in this game, I played Pool League High, or Pool League level, and Highfield Champs. Says Albert. And Boland needs to try and maybe to win. If they can push over, it depends on the person as well. I would trust you with a sword in hand. But I would be hesitant to give George a pencil. Yeah, no, that's a smart move. George is, like, even having a table tennis panel, I think, or paddle, I should say. He may have been the one who snapped it in half at school accidentally from whacking the table with it. Could be wrong, but it might have been him. They played table tennis. Or they table tennis balls go ping pong, says Andre. And having my own pool table in my house. It was good old days. I practice 8 hours a day, says Albert. You see, I've got a pool table out in the garage, but I don't use it. And the pockets are really big, so it makes you think you're better than you are, and then you go on another table and you just struggle. I did fencing at school, Friday afternoon sword fights. Says I Lollipop. And so Boland have a yellow card, or the Lions, Boland, have their second yellow card of the day. And neither time that they've had a yellow have the Lions been able to score during it. We love foosball in school. Missed a lot of classes playing it, says Jimbo. And handling errors letting Boland attack down. And also their discipline. You know, they have reached double figures when it comes to the amount of penalties that they have given away. And Boland, I think, has a card, says Bruce. Yep, they do. They're number 15, James Tedder. And also, I did fencing, and also pubs have darts and pool. It's very popular. Young folks always enjoy. And proper pool table that was coin operated and charged my friends to play, says Albert. And does anyone outside of the UK play rounders? I haven't really heard of rounders, if I'm honest. Is that darts going around the board, or is that something else? It's basically we have baseball at home. Okay, it's something very different then. And soccer, NFL, and athletics. The athletics at the Olympics and whatnot, or the Commonwealth Games, is always real good to watch. Van Score, he will make his way onto the field, and September comes on. So a couple of changes in a row made for Boland. School we played girls touch rugby, girls cricket, which was more like softball, and drum majorettes. Says Chantel. There was 1,500 of us in school, Lilia. We were never missed. Off to the left-hand side, Jaco Vasachi. Sitting 53 minutes through as this game has reached a stalemate. At this current point in time, neither side scoring in quick succession, and another penalty going against Boland for off their feet in the breakdown. I watched most of the Tour de France, and also we have got our Lions had taken control, or haven't taken control at all. Nothing yet with the Boland yellow card, and I feel like bowling and slowly going out of fashion. A couple of years ago, everyone went bowling. Don't really hear about it anymore. True, yeah, I think that temp and bowling, like, I'd say even like, yeah, that 5 years ago, like when I was working at a random bowling alley, which I was for about 3 weeks, long story, but just wasn't busy. And I think that the benefit they had is they also had like a pub or like a bar next door, a restaurant type setup, so they had that side of things. They had a few arcade machines as well, but they didn't really get use either. So, you know, it's one of those ones that I guess once you've got that initial startup cost out of the way, it's fine. But then, like, they had a broken alley that was going to need to be fixed for like $5,000, and it would take a long time for enough people to bowl to be able to pay for that. So I think it's still broken. I don't think they've fixed it up till this date. But now, 40 metres out for the line here, the Lions, Nico Stain, back across to the right-hand side, Volhata. Trying to get through was Kwama. And Hamish, is it really a sport you dislike? I really, really hate watching soccer, even if it's fun to play. Says Albert. Ooh, sport that I dislike. The thing is, I don't think I have any that I'd be like, oh, I hate that this is on. But there are sports that I wouldn't watch for more than like a couple minutes before I'm like, okay, this is me done. Is badminton popular? I think it used to be a little bit more. Like, there's a few professional badminton players out of New Zealand. I actually used to play it, not professionally, but slightly competitively back in my day. Oh no, never mind. Nico Stain, he just fell over while taking the kick. I thought that he might have actually hurt himself, but the ball's bounced back for the Lions. Kick downfield from Renier Yonka. Stays in the field of play. Some quick stepping, but well done from Boland again, who survive. Hamish secretly loves water polo. Got a bowling ball here. It's so odd it has holes in it, says Bruce. Although it makes it a lot easier to be able to spin and manipulate it, doesn't it? Although spinning a bowling ball without holes, I feel like wouldn't be too tough, maybe. And bowling never took off here either. Weird, USA it's big, says Ruth. And same here, see our local bowling alley has closed down, says Jimbo. And badminton's cool, says Naz. Yeah, badminton's one of those ones, I don't think I'd even watch people play it, but I don't mind playing it myself. And a lot of people who hadn't played it when they start playing it, like, do enjoy it. Like, we back when I was about 10, we got a stoppage in the game, ladies and gents. That's why we're talking about badminton, as they will just about have a Lions line-out throw here. But, yeah, back for Christmas, like when we'd do like the family Christmas side of things, there would just be a string across my nana and granddad's backyard that the four of us kids would just play badminton for hours. And line out for the Lions. May score here with Sinbin player out. Says Jonathan. Yeah, it doesn't look too good here for Donovan Don either. He has actually stayed down with some sort of strapping required on that leg. I remember when we got the gold medal at the curling, one Olympics, and then everyone here pretended to be super into curling for a year. Says Big Rig. And that is something that does happen. Like, at the end of the day, when something is, like, successful in terms of at the big stage, people do take interest in it for a little bit. It's the same with, like, a lot of New Zealanders, how they'll be like, oh, I'm really into rowing now. But then no one actually ever does anything about it or doesn't watch anything but the Olympic rowing. Play badminton in my school, very enjoyable and indoor in winter. Says Jimbo. I used to play frisbee. I need to be extremely fit to play, but loads of fun, says Albert. And nice, that's the Kiwi life, says Nars. But now another change being made for Boland. Donovan Don will not get that chance at the hat-trick as he has made his way off. And Jaco Fasaki, 5 metres out from the line now for the Lions. They need a try. You know, they've been working hard, but they haven't reaped any sort of rewards in this last little while. Nico Steyn, big skip pass going to Reniard Jonker again, just dragged down short. Steyn looking off to the right, does manage to find the big lock. This one, I believe it is, would be Schlblom, I believe. And that number 4 jersey today. Now Nico Steyn, another fend. I'd 100% watch Blitzball if it was real. Says big rig. Now, going off to the left-hand side. Nico Steyn. Left again. Manuel Russ. He deserves a try with how he has played. He's been very strong throughout the midfield, although Boland almost getting themselves to steal in the breakdown. Step from Lombard does lose his footing. Both sides starting to fall over a little bit more as this match has progressed. And I love playing badminton. Says Lilia there. But yeah, badminton's a nice, easy one. That if you've got 4 of yous or even 3 of yous, you can just, you know, as long as you've got the resources. Oh, almost stolen once more from Boland. Big fin from Renzo Duplessis. Cade Volhart offloads. And the Lions score with Lombard. Is this the start of the change in momentum here? Still with that man advantage, or at least I believe they were. And now the Lions, after the 59 minutes, they get themselves over the line. What do touch does not indicate which team has to throw in right away. They seem to delay, indicating on purpose, says Jacques. Sometimes I think it takes them a little bit longer, but also they do sometimes get word from the TMO in terms of who it came off last. Like the TMO will watch that replay and then go, oh, it's off this person. So like if it's a confident one, they'll just go boom, boom, straight away. But when it's a little bit more 50-50, they normally like to just sit and wait a bit longer just to see if they're going to get told by someone what the verdict was. Thank the rugby gods, finally a try. Says Chantel there. I think you see Jacques. Yeah, I think they've also got their earpiece, the same one that the referees have. Because, of course, they all have to try and communicate with each other. That one's missed away to the side for Volhata. And that is now going to make the score with 20 minutes remaining. 15 points to 10. I need a third try so I can make 3 Lions jokes. Says Big Rig and misconversion, good for Boland fans. Because next one could only tie. Says Jonathan. Yeah, that conversion game at the end of this contest, I think that it's going to come down to who can get that last big kick over, because I do think the Lions still have something in them here. Now, whether or not it's straight away that they fire, or whether there's a bit of a wait for them. Mostert, he has made his way onto the field. That was for Donovan Don, and then also Murray has come onto the field for Visachi. Hasn't had his biggest game here, Jaco Visachi, which wasn't really expected. I thought he would have done a lot more throughout this match. Oh, well taken. Just outside of the 22 by Mpeku. Seen that big run from her. Oh, him, sorry, only about 15 minutes ago. 20 minutes is a long time of rugby. Exactly right. A lot can change in 15 minutes. You know, we could see another yellow card just around the corner. That would certainly change what happens next. You know, goes over the sideline, so will be the line-out throw for Boland. And once again, we hear the orchestra firing back up, trying to get behind their team for the final 20 minutes. So do let me know. At the moment, ladies and gentlemen, 61 minutes through. Who's going to win this game? Are Boland going to be able to hang on, or are we going to see the comeback coming for the Lions, who in this scenario, you could argue, are kind of underdogs? Slightly? Just with the way that it currently sits, it was not a straight throw from Boland, and the Lions get it back. Volhata will kick it downfield, looking for the 50-22, but well handled by James Tedder at the back, and does get the mark. We have got there who will be the box lock pairing. That's a tricky one. For my prediction, without giving away too many spoilers, because of course, be sure to go and check out that video when it goes out in about, I'd say, an hour and a half's time, somewhere around there, maybe even a little bit longer. Maybe 2 hours. I'll be honest, I still have to edit it, like about half of it. But for me, I'm thinking Itzebeth and Diacha. But maybe they'd look at Itzebeth and Nokia. I don't see a way that Itzebeth doesn't start in this match. But Rassie's unpredictable. Maybe he would go a bit of a curveball. Maybe Mostert in the starting lineup too could be an option there. They've got plenty of great choices. Now the line out for the Lions, sitting about 40 metres out. Taking run from Jonka again, and the penalty goes the way of Boland. I think Nico Stain was trying to say there was no rolling away coming there. And Bruce, their home record is incredible, so it wouldn't be characteristic. But this is a Currie Cup, says Jonathan. I think Nico Stain is just actually asking that question about whether or not there was a rolling away attempt. Ashlyn Davids just having a conversation with the referee. Is this referee super big or is Ashlyn Davids super small? I thought Davids was a relatively solid fellow, but this ref kind of towers over him. According to Google, 69 is the most important points. Is the most points ever scored in 20 minutes of rugby. And Mostert was my Super Bock in World Cup 2023, says Jimbo. You see, it's a tricky one because they've got, the thing is, last year there were so many locking injuries for South Africa. And that's where we saw someone like a Rua Noki actually do pretty well. But now a lot of those guys who were injured are back. So the fact that they've got Etzebeth, Mostert, Diacha, Snyman, Nokia, they have so much depth at lock. That's not even including some of the guys like a Kobus Visa as well. That's probably, I want to say, the deepest locking stocks out of anywhere at the moment. Alud and Eben and Arge on the bench, probably. But with Rassie, there's always a surprise. Yeah, which is why I feel like my prediction is going to be completely wrong. But I'm used to it by now because you think you almost get the Rassie trend and then he goes and throws it completely curveball again. That's going to be, I thought it was forward for Boland and the shovel on, but it's going to be play on for them as they sit just the 17 minutes remaining in this game and about 17 metres out from the try line. From backwards and a good, powerful tackle. Getting that little bit closer. Big shot. Both of these sides have been hitting each other extremely hard when they try and go for that run next to the breakdown. I was kind of surprised France and England, as a friendly, got a crowd of 9,000. So here's Big Rig Joe. And Roosters versus Titans, says Jonathan, now off to the left-hand side. Thought about the inside ball, but instead Ngale will just run straight over the top. The man in front of him, what was that? What did I miss? So at the moment, it's very close. A lot of penalties going against Boland throughout this match. They've had 2 yellow cards. The Lions have been a bit lackluster on attack, but they've still got enough time to come back into it. So this will be a very tough one to work out who is actually going to win. I remember this ref doesn't see Boland's forced passes, says Albert. Looks like there might be a bit of an injury here for, I want to say that's Arif Skulman, who has stayed down. Now stepping for Ashlyn Davids. We're getting a bit close to the guy who was injured. Ref was just about to blow the whistle, but instead will play on, and now there's the knock on. World Rugby never does a good job of actually promoting rugby, sadly. It's going to be the cross kick. Now the Lions and Peku as Manuel Russ next to the touch line as he does pass it to him, cutting back infield. Getting some solid meters made again. Kind of expected already invested fans to do the work, says Big Rig. Okay, tackler in the way. Okay, Volhata. A little bit of a shuffle there. Now Kwama. It's closer to the halfway line. The Lions, this is good phase play at the moment, but it does look like Nico Stain might almost be setting up for a kick in the air. Future, what a shot that is coming in from the Boland Kavaliers. I think that was Eric Lambrecht who came absolutely flying up to smash him. I kind of want Lions to win just for the comeback, says Big Rig. Well, that's the thing. If Boland win, it makes that battle for the demotion even more intriguing because Boland are almost out of the running in that case with the couple wins that they've got. And Glow says Nars Williams, yeah, it could go either way. Boland, they have got themselves the 2 tries. Same with the Lions, so 2 more tries for either team would give them the bonus point from this matchup, which is not going to be the easiest thing to do. Now, 40 metres out. Lions looking for the steal, can't get it. Being told to use it as well. They're off to the left for Cheswell September. Now, David Britt's another offload. It was a low one, but well handled by Marsh. I want to let the Cheetahs win the whole Currie Cup this year, says Juan. And if Boland win, says Bruce, yeah, if they win. Currently still the 15 minutes left. Now, James Tedder tries the little chip in behind into his hands. Offload on the inside, the no-look pass. And that is fantastic from Tedder, who now gets his side another try. And that will give them the 10-point lead here for Boland. They said they weren't going anywhere. This is a big moment in this game, ladies and gentlemen. All those penalties, but only one scored. Xavier Mitchell, the man who did score it. But now it will be a nice, easy kick out in front. Feels like ball game right there, says Big Rig. If Boland win, I won't be able to hear myself, says Bruce. But yeah, Tedder goes for the little chip in behind and must have heard the call from his teammate of inside. And that is exactly where he went. Oh my gosh, says Briston. And boom, what do you know, says Ruth there. You see how much the turf is ripping up though, that when he scored, his hand ripped through and took a big divot out like he was playing some golf, but the kick has gone over. And that is now going to make the score 22 points to 10. We have got the Egg Chasers really had a dig at Matt Williams, saying Matt is damaging rugby. Says Albert, I don't think I've heard anyone say that they actually agree with Matt Williams. But the thing is, the biggest problem is, right, when you get people who make comments like Matt Williams, the best way to not let it affect people is to just not engage them. You know, he's no different to the ones who are trolling on Instagram or on Twitter or X or anything like that. Like, they feed off people acknowledging them. So all you got to do is not acknowledge it. Like, so if his hope was to get a reaction, he's got it. And he's got it way more than he would have anticipated. It's the same with Stephen Donald in the URC low level comment. You know, if the intention was to try and get people talking, it's done it. But like, yeah, the easiest way to not do it is just don't acknowledge them. We're all talking about him, so he's winning. Exactly. He's getting the best case scenario for himself. Even if people are being negative towards him, you know, you just ignore him. It's like that, what is it, Ben Smith, the one that the South African supporters all hate. But his name still gets brought up every 5 minutes. Like, just don't engage them, and it goes away. That's the tricky part. Everyone loves to be involved in things nowadays. Everyone wants to be a part of the rebel against the negative one, but you just don't need to. You just don't engage. Easier. Facts, man, matter toxic and should indeed be ignored, says Tristan. Hey, 100% right, Amish, says Albert. And also, I look at the underdogs now. And also, no, they do not do it, says Juan. And come on, Boland, you can do it. I say that, but Americans are still mad at John Rocker, says Big Rig. But scrums at the moment sitting 2 from 4 for the Lions. And those 2 scrums that they did lose have actually really hurt them in this contest. One of them, they were only 5 meters out from the line. 100%. I just keep scrolling whenever I see something about it, says Lilia B. And ignore is the best policy. Yeah, it is. But now, nicely taken time is on Boland's side. Yeah, the clock is ticking quick. We're up to 70 minutes already, but that is a nice kick in behind from the Lions, but they need more possession. It's the only factor, so could end up hurting them that little bit, Boland. Neutralizing the Lions, so different, says Ruth. The only winning move is not to play. Yep. Much easier too. Less stressful. But now, Kate Volahata going to kick this one downfield. That one's swirling a little bit. Looked like maybe the breeze either caught it, but now a stepping here from Nyale up to the halfway line. Fends off Volahata and gets through another tackle attempt. He only has to sigh. And all our online rugby pundits do an article, says Jimbo. Yeah. And, like, I do think that sometimes it can be taken too personally. Like a comment that's made. Like the URC one. Like, no one actually thinks the URC is a low level. No matter what they say. Like, and most of the ones who say it's a low level don't even watch the URC. But they just say it because it's cool to say that it doesn't match Super Rugby. But, you know, it's the same. Like, Springboks world champs. No one could beat them. So, that kind of makes the argument redundant. And come on, the Lions. Go beast mode, get a try. Now attack and run forward again. Currently 12 metres out from the line here. And the Boland Kavaliers are chasing a bonus point. Good day, Hamish. Geez. What did I miss? Says Yuri. Tell you what, the Currie Cup this round has been insane. The amount of underdog wins that we're going to be seeing. All that was close to Ford for Van der Vesterhuizen. Now off to the right. James Tedder, he's lurking. He created the last try attempt. Oh, but the Lions in the breakdown will get themselves the steal. It'll be Renzo Duplessis, was it? Managed to get that one. In fact, that would have been Luca Ribbons. Oh, did manage to get the steal, and Boland always says Briston, sorry. And also it's Carver time. Wellington says Briston. And hey, says Void, welcome in. You're doing extremely well. Currently 72 minutes through this game as Boland look to get themselves win number 2 of their Currie Cup season. Front Row Rugby has a pod today dedicated to that full Matt Williams. 17.65% win rate for Scotland during his reign as head coach, says Bruce. See, everyone will be massively, they will milk it all the way to the bank. It won't be the last podcast about it on YouTube. It won't be the last video about it. But, he's getting his name out there way more than, he should. That's Matt Williams as well, not Front Row Rugby, of course. NPC or Currie, what's the higher level do you think, says Tristan? I think that they're both, depending on the games that you're looking at, respectively, both of them are very different. But, I have no idea how a Lions team here would match up against Canterbury, or how Boland would go up against North Harbour. And that's kind of the beauty of it in a way, is, of course, people can make the assumptions, but we never actually get to see it. So that's just down to opinion. Our Racing's comment was savage. Says Lilia B, and Crystal Palace is my dad and granddad's team. Hope they win. And I'm here watching Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. But now, attack and run forward again for the Lions. There's some yelling going on from somewhere. Someone's right next to a microphone, sorry. Having a really good go at it. Angelo Davids, once again, have hardly seen that man today, but the penalty will go his way. It is against Boland once more. The try scorer, Xavier Mitchell. And it's going to be for offside. 6 minutes left. And this very close fixture. My comment was, who needs comedy? Says Bruce, an upset Lions fan. Says a big rig in there. And also we have there, Hamish, have you ever been to Nando's? I don't think so. I've driven past a Nando's, but I've never been inside. It's not that close, says Big Rick. And on a single URC regular on the field for Lions in this game, especially a B team against the best of Boland, says Albert. Even so, though, they weren't expected to be down by 12 at this point of the match. Oh, that ball's bouncing awkwardly. Mpiku going to do nicely. Now, a big fan from Mpiku trying to find his way through. And Nando's mid, in my opinion. Says Big Rig. What's the other one? It's Taco Bell. Is Taco Bell any good? Or is it just the same? Going to be kicked in behind here for the Lions. Foot race, Cade Volhata trying to win it, but James Tedder is back again. In fact, this time Mostert. 5 minutes remaining in what would be a monumental win for this Boland side. Come in as the big underdogs. I feel like a modern rugby blaming losses on the B team. It's past, says Big Rig. Yeah, it's one of those ones that has put a lot of people off that terminology. Back in the day, it used to hold a little bit more strength, but nowadays it seems to be, oh, what a shot that is. But yeah, normally if you're in the squads now, you are literally a professional player. You are good enough. It's not like back in the day when you had a few injuries and you found a guy at the local dairy who wanted to put his boots on for a week. Says it's the best in South Africa, says Albert. And good afternoon, Hamish from Spain, says Flesh, and welcome in. I hope you're doing extremely well. A couple upsets in this Currie Cup round. And Taco Bell in the UK is awful. Don't know if it's just us, though. Oh, they're going to go for the shot at the post here, Boland. So they are looking to get the extra 3, which would then give them the 2-try lead. That also might take away their chance of a bonus point with the amount of time left. Yes, Rassie rubbed it in, says Bruce. Just showing their Victor in the breakdown, getting the important steal. Apparently, Pizza Hut in the UK is better than everywhere else. Weird stuff. Do you have steers in New Zealand, Amish? As in like the animal? We have the animal, but I'm not sure what the other one is. Now, Cheddar. He's got the win behind him. Taco Bell is bad in the US. Says Fleshin. Sitting 3 from 4 for James Cheddar. That looks pretty decent. Nah, the wind's just going to get it, or something made it go a little bit flatter. We are the best in the world. And that is a knock-on from Renzo Duplessis. And by the way, mate, would you play Finn Allen or Tim Seifert for T20 World Cup 2027 alongside Devon Conway? Oh, that's a tricky one. Because Finn Allen, when he's in form, can be really dangerous. Same can be said about Tim Seifert. He's got that bit more experience, but they might go Allen, I would say, just to have that really quick-fire start. Like, it's not too often you get bowled out in a T20, or at least you shouldn't. A lot of sides do, though, don't they? But, yeah, I would say maybe Finn Allen. What's the number one fast food franchise in New Zealand? It's probably McDonald's or KFC. I'd say that they're the two front runners. And then from there, you're probably looking at either Burger King, Pizza Hut, Domino's, or Subway, I would say or Hungry Jack's in the big areas. I'm just going off what's close to me, but yeah, Hungry Jack's, although I haven't heard many people say that they like Hungry Jack's, to be fair. Oh, looking for the steal and the breakdown, and another penalty does go the way of Boland. This one can now be the kickable 3. We have there been fasting for exactly 26 hours so far, and now people are mentioning food, says Bruce. And we have there in the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. Now 2 minutes left before Boland can sleep very happy with a win under their belt up against the Lions. Steers is a fast food franchise that makes the best hamburgers in the world. Okay, no, we don't have Steers that I know of. No, it's going to be a chance at the rolling ball here for Boland. So they've actually changed their mindset here. Hungry Jack's is the Temu version of Burger King, says Void. You see, I'm not a massive fan of the burgers from Hungry Jack's. And they say the burgers are always better at Hungry Jack's. Oh, wait, no, Hungry Jack's, I'm getting myself confused. I meant Wendy's. Hungry Jack's is like the Australian version of Burger King, isn't it? But, yeah, I meant Wendy's. That's normally not raved about. In that regard, people talk down McDonald's. I've been awful, yet millions go every day. They're doing something right, says Big Rig. Now, short side here for Boland, close to the sideline. And come on, boys, come on, Boland. September looking for this ball, but the penalty is won by the Lions. Now, they actually have the potential of getting themselves a bonus point for being within 7 if they are able to go on and score. McDonald's put stuff in their bread that makes you addicted, says Albert. What if you don't get the burgers from McDonald's, though? Can you still get addicted to, like, the chips? Will you ever do an arm wrestle with George? I would rather not snap my arm. Like, I know he would beat me. He's got that farm boy strength. There's a knock on. So will be another Boland scrum. 22 metres out. Wendy's are the square burgers. They're okay back home. Says Fleshin. And also, come on, boys. Come on, Boland. Says Briston there. Yeah, we just see it as he went to ground. He kind of had that ball ripped away from him from Ngade, so I could have seen that going as just a play on. But the band, I don't even know how many members are in the band, but it looks like at least a fair few. I see at least 10 instruments at this current point in time. I see a lot of people happy with what they're doing. I think that's the under 18 box side, maybe. And we have got there, Hamish, are you going to bring George in 2028? Because you bring him in every 3 years in the lives? Yeah, so we have to do something in 2028, won't we? No, he should be back before then, I would say. And it's just like that, the Lions got schooled. Says Chantel, yeah, a very uncharacteristic performance from a Lions side. So we just saw the 2 top-of-the-table teams lose in this round of the Carling Currie Cup. So the unpredictable factor is certainly still there. Big scrum from the Lions. There will be the penalty. It's going to go the way of this Lions team again, who have decided to take it quickly. Mpeku. It's this ball in hand. Sitting about 25 metres out from their own line, so a long way to go before they do get to the try line. Off to the left. Now back across Kate Volata, going out to Lombard. 40 metres from their own line, so still another 60 to go if they want that bonus point. So 300 Dogs wins. Great weekend of rugby. Ball stolen by Boland. And the thing is, both of these sides want to get one more try. Ball almost was ripped by the Lions. So Boland will keep playing, and the Lions will keep playing. So we could have 88 minutes here. If you haven't had a King Stair burger from Stairs, you haven't lived. Says, oh, well, I guess I haven't lived. We have got there, they put fetal cells in their meat patties for flavour enhancers. Wait till you find out about that. Says Bruce, well, I don't really eat McDonald's burgers because I don't like mustard. And it's just easier not to get their burger. But now, it's a deliberate knockdown, or at least it was accidental, I think, but it's going to become a penalty now in favour of Boland again. Hamish is undead confirmed. That's already been a rumour anyway, though, isn't it? There were rumours that I was a vampire. Maybe it's true. You can customise your order? You can, but I don't like doing it. I just prefer to go for something else, like a wrap or just chips. We have got there pretty much, Big Rig. Gosh, didn't see this coming, but it does make for exciting rugby, says Chantel. And also, well, have we even seen you outside? Says Big Rig. Only if you're an old school viewer. Because we did once do a video outside and it was sunny. So I feel like that one video proves that I wasn't a vampire. But that video I don't think is up on the channel anymore. So, ooh, a bit spooky. So then a couple metres out, Boland very close to their bonus point. They would get 5 points from this game if they can score once more and increase their points differential a bit more as well. Mustard on a Mackie D. I also don't like Big Mac sauce though. I'm very bland and a plain individual. Another advantage for Boland. They surely have to score now. Out, cross kick from Ashlyn Davids. In fact, goes for the little chip in behind. It will go dead. And I'll go back again. KFC would be my second choice after Steers here in South Africa. And hamburgers is tastier than a chicken burger, says Boyd. And Max double cheeseburger over the Big Match and watch the snowboarding videos. Although, fun fact, I'm not actually in that snowboarding or any of the snowboarding videos because they went for a school trip that I didn't go on. Because that was through what was it? It was like a snowboarding or like skiing club. But I wasn't a member of it because I was doing something else at the times when they were having their meetings. I think it might have been when I was playing football. So it meant that they went skiing and I got the footage and I edited it. Do you remember when that guy named Rugby Hitch, aka Tim, did a cover live for you while you were in a wedding? I do. He did a couple matches of the Six Nations. He's covered for us many times before on the channel, Tim. I actually talked to him about it probably 3 hours ago. I could just say no sauce and mustard when you order it. I could, but I just get sick of doing it. I also don't, I could go into the list. I also don't like the gherkins. But now backline movement. Chance here for the try and Mostert will score it. And now Boland get themselves the bonus point try. And they are absolutely loving it, the crowd in the stands for this one. We have there, great job again, Amish. Thanks for all your fun chats in the commentary. Says Chantel, no worries at all. And also we have got as well, there's also a food channel after rugby, says Albert. And why are they not kicking for the corner? I think that they eventually wanted to get that try. They just had to work very hard to do it. Dan didn't see that going. So yeah, an even bigger winning margin. 19 points for Boland over the Lions. The Bulls losing by 30 up against the Pumas. What has happened this round of the Currie Cup? And Lions can still win this. Maybe the Currie Cup in general, but not this game. Unfortunately for them. And Dan didn't see that coming, says Big Rick. Also, give me tons of pizza with chili, beef, and cheese. Says Ruth. And there as well. And now, James Tedder to add the additional 2. Does get it over 29 points to 10, the end score. All this food chat makes me want sushi. See, I have a sushi story from primary school, but we won't go into it now, but I also don't like sushi for that very reason. Would you like to try pizza with chili, lamb, and mayo? I don't actually like mayo, though, so that wouldn't work for myself. Are you man of the match? I would give it to... I mean, Donovan Dong got 2 tries, but James Tedder from the back was pretty solid in this game too. Ashland Davids did well. Dodge Boland is on fire. Says Briston there. What's your favourite food then? Says Big Rig. I don't mind just a good solid chicken fried rice, you know? Chicken, rice, bit of egg, maybe some peas and corn. That's about it, really. The simple things. Feels like you've shot down everything. Says Big Rig. It's just, you know, you guys are listing things with sauce, and the only real sauces that I like are sweet chili, tomato, and barbecue. So that kind of limits me a little bit. We have got the Lions must be sorry. They let you to go to Boland. Says, I lollipop there. And Bulls must bring the 5 points, says Briston. And I'm with you, Hamish. No sushi. Pisces, raw fish, nope. And meat feast, chili pizza for the win. And sweet chili dip is delicious, says Big Rig. But yeah, 29-10, the end score on this one. So ladies and gents, be sure to keep an eye out on the channel. Hopefully at around between 6 and 6:30 p.m. that'll be for South African time. That is when our Rassie Erasmus lineup prediction for the Springboks will be coming out. So please be sure to give that a look, and also let us know what you think of the team. Let us know your own one too. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. You should try bringing Kane Williamson for your next live coverage. That might be quite tricky to do. I don't know whether or not he even follows Currie Cup rugby, but maybe one day. I like eggs. Had 24 yesterday. Says Bruce. I have got there Dunky Hamish, says Chantel, and also well done Boland. And good day Hamish, says Briston there too. So the next live stream that we will have on the channel will either be NPC, Currie Cup, or the Rugby Championship match between South Africa and Australia. But all throughout the week, I'm going to be having the lineups and all sorts of fun stuff there. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. And yeah, have a great week. We'll see you all for the next one.